Welcome to the Student Parent Orientation. Again, I am Leticia Acosta, Director of Subiendo. This next segment is recorded, so we can share it with our families at home who could not join us today. Thank you to all of our families for supporting Subiendo and allowing your students to spend 5 days with us on the University of Texas campus. I hope you all enjoyed your campus tour. I know it was a bit hot out there, and thank you to Olga for leading the tour. Please help yourself to water in the back, and it will be there to replenish yourself. Target is a generous supporter of Subiendo, and most specifically with the parent involvement component. Target and Subiendo together understand that a student's success is attributed to the support they receive at home. Preparing for college is a daunting task, whether your child is the first in your family to attend college or not. This session includes a team leader panel to help answer questions you have about college from a student's perspective. These current UT students have been in your son or daughter's shoes not too long ago, and they provide a wealth of advice that might be beneficial to you as you prepare for the next year and beyond. This week, your child will have an exhausting yet exhilarating week. They will be very tired by the time you see them on Thursday, so let that be a warning. 5 days is truly not enough time, but it is a great start in tapping into their leadership potential and developing the leaders of tomorrow. Tonight, they start with an etiquette dinner. This one session on how to dine and appropriate conversations to have can make all the difference when they are at a business lunch or a dinner. The students have all loved this session in the past, and I'm sure it's because the food is very, very good. Monday is a very long day, but it's an exciting one. They will begin their group work in identifying a problem they wish to find a solution to in either healthcare, education, immigration, or the environment. They will meet with experts and legislators in these fields, and they will learn more about the issues they wish to address. Later that day, they will embark on their entrepreneurial talents by creating a business that looks to address that same policy area, but in a different context. This component incorporates financial literacy, so it applies the principles they should learn in a fun learning experience. If you are worried about your child eating this week, rest assured they are fine. They will have lunches and dinners with various speakers, and breakfasts are all in the dormitory. They have to have that experience too, of course. Tuesday, they have time with the policy experts again, and then they'll also take museum tours across campus, and then have a fun night at the Gregory Gym. I think Olga may have taken you by there and seen they have a pool now, which is just fabulous. So they'll have a great time swimming and then participating in the basketball courts and the game room, because Wednesday is another full day. So we head to the Capitol this day, and this is where they present their policy projects, and this is a really exciting time for us because we get to see the student develop from day 1 to day 4, and they grow so much in this time, and it's so exciting to see them stand up before legislators and media and present their policy solutions. So you should be very proud of what they're about to accomplish this week, because it's very exciting. So they will have a tour of the Capitol, of course, and they will get advice from esteemed Senator Zaffarini, who will talk to them about her experience and certainly what has led her to become a state senator. And all their hard work will be rewarded with a celebratory dinner hosted by our friends of Subiendo, who are the donors of our program. Our final day, we take them to the UT Stadium, and they will get a behind-the-scenes tour of the athletics facilities. I know I have a couple of parents here who are Aggies, so please do not do anything to our field. We appreciate that. So they will have a college and career fair as well, and this is a great opportunity for them to visit with our campus representatives to teach them, or certainly to share with them, the different opportunities that are out there in a chosen field. So we're excited to have our campus as a partner in this. And you will get to reconnect with your kids on lunch on Thursday. So I know they'll be happy to see you, and I know they'll appreciate you being back here with us on Thursday. So it's a great week. And again, we have all 78 kids here. 3 bags have been found, so we're moving in the right direction. So does anybody have any questions about the full schedule that's ahead? Great. Before our team leader panel joins us, I wanted to invite Cosette Gutierrez to come and talk to us and just give us some brief remarks about her experience and certainly why Target has joined us in this endeavor. And we appreciate you, again, being here from Minneapolis, who told me that there's 76-degree weather over there, which I think is so foreign. So thank you, Cosette. Appreciate you being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am delighted to be here with you today on behalf of Target Corporation. Target is certainly committed to the communities that we serve, and since 1946, we've been contributing 5% of our net income, which is about $3 million a week, and continues to grow. I'm fortunate to be on the team that focuses on education, so my job involves visiting mostly elementary and middle schools and ensuring that our children are reading successfully by the 3rd grade, which is a major milestone in their development, but also really helping them on their path to college and career readiness. We are committed to contributing $1 billion to education by 2015, and we're very delighted to partner with Subiendo in this experience. But today really isn't about Target. What I'd love to share with you today is a little bit about my journey and how I've gotten to where I am. And it all started by having a great mom. So I know today's Father's Day, but for her as a single mom, I used to always say Happy Father's Day to Mom, because she was clearly the mom and the dad of the experience. But thank you to you as parents, because you're embarking on what is going to be a great week for your children. And I would say that this step that you've taken to allow them to participate in this experience is one that's going to definitely put them on the path to leadership and success. So many times parents worry about college and the expenses and what's going to happen to Susie or Sally or Jose or Maria. And what I will say is that college is one of those experiences that, for those of you that have been to school, thank you for ensuring that your children succeed in that path. But for those of you that didn't go to college, my mom didn't graduate from high school. She came to the U.S. when she was 15 years old from Santo Domingo, sort of with a dream of what she thought the world could be like. And what she inspired in me was a strong work ethic, and also the belief that there was nothing that I couldn't do. So thanks to her support and passion, late nights, she made sure that I stayed in school, and that every time I thought that I couldn't do it, she would be there saying, yes, you can. So many late nights of calculus and physics. I received my undergraduate degree from MIT, and it wasn't easy. There were many times that I thought, maybe I shouldn't have come here, but certainly her love and support made it all that matter. After that, pursued my MBA degree, and have really become that force, that role model in my family that says, si se puede, and I'm glad to be able to be a role model for my cousins and everyone else. So thank you for what you're doing as parents. Your children are leaders already by taking this step. And when I thought about leadership as I got ready for today, I thought that sometimes we think it's about power and being this person of influence. And I think that leadership is certainly threefold. It's about taking a risk. It's about being the first sometimes. And it's also about sort of setting your path and taking yourself or your family or others to a new destination. So your students or your children will certainly enjoy that leadership experience. So thank you for what you do as parents. Fathers, happy Father's Day to you. Single moms, happy Father's Day to you as well. And thank you for being here. This is certainly a wonderful opportunity, and Target is delighted to be a partner with Subiendo in this experience. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Cosette. We appreciate that very much. We're now going to bring up our team leader panel, who will be moderated by Olga Castro, who is a senior here at UT in the English department and has a great internship. We're very proud of her. So I'll let you start the panel, and I'll turn this over to y'all. I'm going to go with your students now. So if you have any questions, I think everyone has our cell numbers. So we do ask you to call us if you need anything. I mean anything. So have a great, safe travels.
All right. Well, hello again. Jill and Jory came us tour. It's kind of warm, I know. I tried to cut it short, promise. So as Leticia said, my name is Olga. I just finished up my 3rd year here at UT. I'm an English and Spanish double major, preparing for law school. So I'm excited about that next step in my career as well. So today we have a student leader panel, just so that you can ask as many questions as possible from current UT students and get some real answers from all of our student perspective for anything that you may be wondering about what it's like to go to college, what it's like to be in college, things like that. So we'll go ahead and let our team leaders introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about them.
Hi guys, my name is Denise Martinez. I am from a small town 45 minutes from here called Smithville, and my major is in social work.
Hello everybody, my name is Ricardo. I'm from Round Rock, which is about half an hour away, if that. I just finished up my second year. This is my first year as a Subiendo counselor, and I'm a International Relations and Geography double major.
Hi, my name is Delisa Ramirez. I am from Hebronville, Texas, which is about an hour from Laredo. I am majoring in management in the business school, and this is my first year doing Subiendo also.
Great. So now we're going to open up the floor to you. If you have any questions of our student leaders about college, or maybe what their majors are, or what they're studying, or anything like that, we're happy to take those questions. Or not. There isn't anything that you're kind of wondering about what it's like to be on campus? Yeah. Okay.
So I know Hebronville's small. How many people are in Hebronville? What's the population in Hebronville?
There's currently between 4,000 and 5,000, so probably 4,500 maybe.
So was it a big shock for you coming up here?
It wasn't that much of a shock to me. Both of my brothers actually went to college here also, so they kind of, reeled me in. But I feel like now that your children are here, they can make good relationships with us if they do decide to come to UT. And so I feel like if anything, and they do come from a small town, they can always talk to us, and we'd be able to help them adjust to like the big city life, sorry. So, yeah.
I guess any one of you three, what was your biggest takeaway looking back, kind of reflecting back to your first experience with Subiendo, and how that relates to you now in whatever year you're in with the University of Texas?
Right. Well, this is Subiendo's third year as a program, so we didn't actually get to attend as students participating. But I participated in this as a counselor last year, and I can tell you that I've learned so much from the students of last year. I've learned how to be a better leader because of them. I've learned how to read people better, how to understand what students need and when they need it, little encouragement if they're shy and things like that. So definitely this program, if not, will just teach you how to be aware of your surroundings and help you become a better leader.
And I think going off of that, going through a leadership type program before you get to college, it does allow you to meet other students and to kind of put yourself out there, especially if you're coming with just a few people from your high school, or you may even be coming alone, because once you get to UT, there are 50,000 students here. There's about 8,000 students per freshman class alone. So, you are going to have to put yourself out there, meet people, and adjust. And I think getting that experience early on just kind of helps make it a little bit easier once you're a first year here.
What is the selection process to become a Subiendo leader? What is the selection process?
So the selection process to become a Subiendo leader, I can speak to that. I was a part of the executive team this year, and so we did a lot of kind of the logistics of the program, and it's competitive. So basically, as all of you may know, the application consists of essays the students have to write. They have to submit transcripts, letters of recommendation, things like that. It's almost like a college application, and so it's a rigorous process. And when we get the applications, we really consider every part of it. Student involvement. Grades, how will they write, if they're interested in the program, what they hope to gain of the program. Really everything is considered holistically. And so this year we had over 400 applications and only 78 spots to fill. So it was one of our most competitive years, and we're really excited because Subiendo is growing exponentially. It's only our third year, and each year, the students just bring so many different talents and so many different, they're so excited to come to this program. And so it's growing and becoming more and more competitive. So we're excited about that for sure.
And I think to be a counselor, they hold the counselors to that same standard. So we also, have we have to make sure that we're in good standing with the university, as well as once we do the application and interview process, we have the same short answer style format that we have to do, explain what experience we've had that will make us good counselors, as well as also allow us to briefly describe what we have that will make us good counselors to the students, and what experiences we can bring to the table to ensure that the students get a really diverse perspective, and that we can be there as role models, but as well as peers for the students. Because in all reality, they're 17, 18 years old, and I'm only 20, so it's not a huge age gap.
It's really important that our counselors are willing to kind of be mentors after this program, because our students do keep in touch with our counselors. I have students, I was a counselor last year in Subiendo, and I have students this year that still contact me for help on college or applications or scholarship applications, things like that, things they're kind of weary about or unsure about. So it's really important that our counselors as well are willing and able to be mentors to those students for their senior year, and help them get into college as well. So good question. Any others?
What is the
I think we're waiting for a mic.
program here?
Will you ask that again?
What is the honors program that I've heard about? My son was invited to a weekend to come do whatever with the honors program, and I was just wondering about that and what the difference in the honors program and regular UT classes.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we do have, is the Honors Colloquium, is that what you were talking about? So we do have a program called the Honors Colloquium where we bring a lot of, I think it's about 150 students from across Texas that have just shown really great, done really well in school, shown really great leadership skills. And we basically bring them to campus to show them kind of what the honors programs are on campus. Honors programs are a little bit more rigorous than a regular college degree, degree plan. But are any of you in an honors program? Okay. So it's nothing to shy away from. It's really, it's a great experience. I'm actually a part of the liberal arts honors program, and I've just really enjoyed it. Basically, I guess the benefits that I've received from being in an honors program are just kind of that one-on-one attention that I've had with professors. Our classes are capped at about 30 or 40 students, so it's really nice to kind of have that one-on-one contact with professors. Also, a lot of our classes are discussion-based, and so we don't have a whole lot of lecture during classes, and that's really beneficial as well, especially if you're preparing for graduate school or something like that. And so I've had a great experience with honors. A lot of students just prefer not to do honors because it's really not that much different from a regular degree plan. So, do you have anything to add? No?
You hit the nail on the head.
Got it. Good question. Any others?
While the students are here, will you be talking to them about UT and the different programs in addition to the project that they're working on?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in our schedule, we don't have a whole lot of time kind of allotted for us to talk about UT. Every single one of our students here are competitive and would do well at the University of Texas, but we kind of want to focus on the program and the camp. So really the only time that we talk a lot about UT is at that college and career fair on the very last day. And we show them kind of the resources and everything that's available on campus, but throughout the week we'll be pretty much focused on policy projects and our business simulations. So.
But I don't know, just based on like the few conversations that I've had with some students today, like we as counselors are engaging like what their career aspirations or their college aspirations are. If they do have any questions, like we are available to answer them in whatever form or fashion they may be. I know I was talking to a couple about like the different like large versus small colleges. So I mean, I think in our nightly meetings and like during like the breaks and the lunches, like that can definitely be an opportunity where we as counselors and the students can come ask us questions and just have casual conversations about like, what UT is like and what our experience is like as students here.
So a common piece of advice I've heard consistently is get involved. So maybe could the four of you take turns and tell us a little bit about how when you came to school you got involved?
I'll start. The first thing I joined when I was a freshman was this organization called SMILE, which is Students Making an Impact Through Love and Empathy. And what we do is we actually go to the oncology clinic, and I'm personally interested in helping children after I graduate, some way, some fashion. And so I felt that this would be a great way to do that. So it was just really good to go out there and help children, and also what we call networking. So making those connections with different people in the community to help us do that. But it also helped me like meet so many people on campus. So that's probably the first way that I did it when I was a freshman.
Yeah, and I think going off of that, I do stress like personally getting involved your first or second semester here at UT. I have a sister that's coming in the fall, so I'm you know, having these conversations with her as well. But when I was a freshman in my first semester, I was a part of a peer mentor program where I had a mentor, and then through that, I was exposed to different like community service projects and organizations on campus. My mentor was there as a hub for me to kind of like gauge what my interests are, and then she was able to use her perspective to be like, oh, well, you know, I think you should, you know, go this way and try joining that. And I think it's really, really important that students do get involved, because it does allow them to meet people and they can get in those leadership positions. I joined a social organization my first semester, or my first year as well. I also had a job on campus, and then even through my job on campus, I've been able to grow professionally as an individual, meet other students, other colleagues, which again, you know, allows me to branch out to other networks on campus through my students and through the other, my employer on campus. So that's just a little bit of what I've done in my few years here.
My freshman year, I joined FLOW. It stands for Freshman Leadership Organization. And that organization basically helped me really get acclimated here. And it had like different service projects. We'd go do a lot of volunteering, and then they'd have speakers for us as well and mentors. And so that is really what got me involved to begin with. And then as I kept going, I just learned more about other organizations available. And I keep saying this, but whatever you're interested in, I'm sure your children will find some organization that will do it. There are so many here, and they're just open to anything. And they can even create their own organization if they want. Really, all you need is $10, and you go and you sign up for your own organization, and you can just start up a club on your own, and it's fantastic. There's so many ways to get involved.
Definitely. Just to go off what Denise said, we have over 1,000 organizations on campus. So your student is bound to find anything that they want to do on campus. We have a Quidditch team for anybody who's Harry Potter fans. We also have, we have academic fraternities. We have social organizations, fraternities and sororities. We have first-year groups, like the first-year interest group. It's called FIG for short on campus. And it's basically a mentorship program for our students coming in. They can have mentors, live in the same residence hall with a few students, go to classes with a few students, so that they can have that built-in network as well. My first year on campus, I did not get hugely involved. My first semester, I'm a first generation college student, and so my first semester was really filled with me kind of trying to figure out what I need to do on campus, you know, how to be a college student, how to study, things like that. So my first semester, that was basically what I was doing. Second semester, I got involved heavily with an organization called Alpha on campus, and they're a part of the business school. I was interested in being a business student at the time, and so through that organization, I made tons of friends that really opened the door for me to so many other organizations on campus. Through all of those organizations that I've joined, I've been able to get internships and things like that. So you really just need to join one thing, meet a few people, and it'll open the doors for you to have a great experience on campus. But definitely, what you've been hearing is true. Get involved. It really enriches your experience on campus and really kind of changes, what you do in college. So for sure. Yeah.
So in terms of getting to know about all these things, is it just organic, or is there an open house for activities, or how do you learn about these things?
Yeah, definitely. So first week of classes is key, right?
Exactly. The first week of classes, there will be tables all throughout the main mall, which is in front of the tower. There will be organizations setting up tables, handing out flyers consistently. And if not, then there are bulletins posted all throughout campus. And there's also a great database on the UT website that has the list of all the student organizations as well.
And then just going off of that, there's a huge event. I believe it's the first or second Wednesday of class. It's called Party on the Plaza. And that's right out here close to the Gregory Gym. And it's literally where, any organization that signs up, it's a huge organization fair, so the students can come and weed in and out and look at the different tables of the organizations. They can meet the members, talk about what their meeting schedule is like, their activities that they do, and then also word of mouth actually has a really huge impact. So once they do create their network, they can see what their friends are joining, and they'll meet people who are in other organizations. So there's definitely, like Denise was saying, a hub of resources and information to get involved on campus.
And like Ricardo said, word of mouth is key on campus. I'm at Subiendo because of word of mouth. And are y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, students really talk to each other and they really, really encourage each other to get involved as well. So, as soon as your student makes a few friends, it really is easy for them to continue. Yeah.
Are the jobs on campus easy to come by?
That's a good question.
So there's a database on campus. It's called hirealonghorn.com. And what that is employers both on and off campus, they have postings there, and the students will get their own login for that, so they can go and log on and look at, jobs based on department, major, interest, work-study status, part-time status, schedule, availability. So it's a really, really easy to use database, and I know that they just actually redid the whole thing to make it even more efficient for students. And I've had 3 different jobs on campus, and I found all of them through that database, and I strongly, strongly encourage it if it's something that the students is interested in. And then also, if there's a particular area where a student would like to see if there's an opportunity, like at the department of their major and whatnot, just going up and asking, really, you never know what they're going to say if they have an opening available.
I tend to find they know that you're a college student also. So I work at the Department of Theater and Dance, and they know that I'm a college student. I have tests and I have homework. And so they're also really flexible with you and with your studies because they want you to do well. They want you to succeed while you're here at college. They want you to just be all you can be. And so they're really flexible with working with you, especially if you're one of their employees.
With regard to campus housing, where do you all live, and do you have advice for incoming freshmen? Any tips?
My freshman year, I lived in Jester, which is where the students are staying for this camp. Jester was an interesting experience. A lot of the students that go to UT live in Jester their freshman year. It was a lot of fun, but personally, it was very loud for my taste. But that's just me personally. I know a lot of people don't mind that. But there are several different dormitories that have different environments. So there's an all-girls dorm. It's Kinsolving, and then there's Littlefield, sorry. Yeah, and so they're just different, and they're all different sizes and things like that. And currently, my sophomore year, I live off campus in an apartment. And that's been doing good. There's shuttle buses that will take you to and from. So that's been a great experience also.
Yeah, I also lived in Jester. My first year, I had a connecting bath within another room, so I shared a restroom with 3 other guys, which was really interesting. And then, but I enjoyed the Jester experience. I feel like, even if my colleagues necessarily didn't live in Jester, Jester was always kind of the meeting spot because there's 2 dining halls, there's a cafe there, there's the Wendy's there. So it's where a lot of students go, so you're bound to run into people. And then my second year, I live off campus, not too far because I don't have a vehicle. So it's convenient to walk, or I can take the shuttle bus that runs through the West Campus area. And I've definitely enjoyed, having my own place with space and a living area and a kitchen, so it's been enjoyable as well. But I definitely liked the dorm experience too my first year.
Same here. I did not live in Jester. I actually lived in Kinsolving, which is the all-girls dormitory. We also have a cafeteria in there, which is all you can eat. So when your child gets into the university and they stay in the dorm, they get a card, their UTID, and that has Bevo Bucks and dine-in dollars. And the Bevo Bucks are used at the cafeterias. They can be used at any of the cafes here. They can be used on even some vending machines. So it's really, really nice to have that. Kinsolving was a lot more, it was more quiet than Jester was. I really enjoyed Kinsolving also, so.
Yeah, I really think it's a great experience to live on campus for a student's first year, just because it's like the midway point between leaving home with no parents and no supervision, and then and paying your bills at an apartment and having to deal with all of that along with school. So living on campus is a good halfway point where you are a little bit more independent, but there is sort of everything taken care of for you at college. It's all kind of bundled together. My first year, I also lived at Kinsolving, all-girls dormitory. I lived on the side that was connecting bathrooms, so I too shared a bathroom, not with boys though, 3 girls, all-girls dorm. I had a lot of friends that were boys and said the food was much better at Kinsolving than at Jester, so I don't know if it was an all-girls thing, had something to do with that. But I had a great experience living in Kinsolving as well. I really enjoyed living there, and most of my friends that I have now, I actually made through my dormitory, and so that's another huge plus of living on campus is you kind of have a built-in way to make friends and get acclimated to campus. So.
How was the program developed? Was it developed through the School of Business? Who sort of come up with the idea?
Yeah,
and is it one of a kind as far as you know in universities around?
Is it one of a kind? Definitely, I think so. There are very few programs that are kind of public policy focused, and so it's really exciting that this program actually has the students build something tangible, a public policy project that they can take with them and say, yeah, I built this, and this can be used at the Capitol, and this is what I did. So I think it is definitely one of a kind, and it basically started because there were a few people that realized that diversity in universities is really important. So it actually started as a program to target students from underprivileged communities and underprivileged areas. That's pretty much why everything is paid for, from travel to food on campus to everything. It's taken care of for our students because we didn't want, or our donors didn't want our students to have to worry about anything but getting here and being educated. So that's kind of where it came from. It didn't start at Red McCombs. It didn't start at School of Business. It's actually private donors that donate for the program. They're really generous, and we're just really thankful for them. That's kind of where it came from. Any other questions? Well, I think we've covered a whole lot. No other burning questions?
Do they have a chapel on campus for the students to go to church, or is there any faith-based programs there?
Yeah, that's a great question. We do have a lot of faith-based organizations, and if that's something that your student is interested in, they can definitely get involved in that. We do have a diversity, huge diversity component to our university. So there's definitely churches. We have synagogues nearby as well. We have Catholic church that is nearby as well. Non-denominational services on campus as well. So we kind of have a little bit of everything. So yeah, there's definitely faith and religion-based here as well. Sure. So now we're going to bring up our representative from the admissions office to just talk a little bit about UT and the admissions process. So if you would join me in welcoming Alex Salinas up to the podium, please.
Good afternoon. Not to take anything from the student component, because that is great, but my name is Alex Salinas. I'm the director of the UT Admission Center in South Texas. Depending where you're from, there are different regional admission centers in Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, El Paso, and others around East Texas and West Texas. But I want to make sure that in case you have any questions regarding admissions, I'm here to answer those questions regarding the holistic review process, maybe test scores, maybe who gets admitted to business and what's the process with that, housing applications. I want to make sure that I do answer those before you go away today. I know that we have the college career fair on Thursday, which I'll be there as well, but since this is a one-to-one, and I want to make sure you guys get the best out of this program. So if anyone has any questions. Oh, okay. Yes.
As far as scholarships go, I know the schools will give out certain scholarships for class rank, not class rank, but SAT scores and stuff like that. Do you know the cap on that, or like the minimum SAT score? What I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just for scholarship purposes from the university, not
Correct.
like outside sources.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll go ahead and tie that into the admissions process. But when it comes to admissions and scholarships, there's a holistic review that we look into, and test scores play a critical role. Now, there's no specific number, ma'am, that I'm going to be able to give you out. But what I can tell you is that the higher that your son or daughter scores, obviously the better chance of them getting that merit scholarships. We have a lot of need-based scholarships, but we have a lot merit scholarships. And but if you do want to know a number, if your child or son or daughter gets a 2,400 in the SAT, they'll be okay. And of course, I am joking because it is a perfect score. And if you're actually wondering, well, that doesn't happen, Alex. I've seen it already 4 times personally, seen it. But I've seen a lot of 2,300s, 2,200s, 2,100s. So aim high, man. But the higher that he or she gets, now, test scores is just one factor. Obviously, class rank's going to help out. The written essays that they write with the application helps out. Their resume that encompasses leadership roles, extracurricular activities, involvement, organization, sports, and the like, and letters of recommendation. So it's a holistic review. Everything that he or she submits to us will be reviewed, and that's how they determine who gets a scholarship based on either departmental scholarship or just merit-based. The 40 Acres, which is a new scholarship from Texas Exes, it's a free ride scholarship. You know, this is a third year coming up. This year we awarded 35, and I believe maybe 20 some actually accepted it, but this is a free ride. So if you want to know what kind of scholarships, we have a free ride scholarship known as a 40 Acres. So please, I highly recommend that your daughter or son actually goes online and Google it or go to the website of Texas Exes and apply for the 40 Acres. And not to take anything from the local or the regional ones like Target, the Dell, the Gates Millennium Foundation and so forth. Because when you apply to UT, there is a link, and this is something you need to let your child know. When they apply to the UT admissions through the Apply Texas website, there is a link that says scholarships. Please make sure that your daughter or son applies for it. That they'll be put in the pool for all the scholarships that we offer. Okay, and again, as a personal recommendation, have them to continue to apply to all these regional outside scholarships. There's a lot of money out there. You know, every year I hear students saying, I got this scholarship. You know, I got that scholarship. And sometimes they're not aware. But their counselor, their high school counselor is foremost the first contact, and obviously the website. You know, and of course, any other person that you could come across, you know, business owners, community community leaders. And I even tell students, go back to your elementary. You know, they have the PTA organizations. They give out $100, $200, $500 scholarships for anyone who went to that elementary who's about to go to college. You never know, right? $100 goes a long way, right, students? Books. But that's a great question, ma'am. But the best way to answer that, the higher the test score that he or she gets, obviously they're in the running for that merit scholarship. I think someone had a question over here. Yes, ma'am.
UT is such a big place, and there are so many colleges within the university that our experience is you can hardly figure it out until you're there and maybe 2 years have gone by. So what if your student's interested in maybe up to 3 of the different schools? Is there an order in which you apply? For example, if you're interested in business and you're interested in engineering, do you need to put one first? Does one school hold it against you if you put another one first?
Well, and again, just to tie, before I answer that, your child is 17 years old, 18 years old when they come to campus. So do they really know what they want? So one of the things that we offer is a School of Undergraduate Studies that they are able to attend this first year. It's an undergraduate school where there's no major involved. And that first year, in reality, even if he or she's a business or an engineering or a communication school student, they're taking their basics. So my recommendation, in case they don't know what they want, or maybe they want business or engineering, they might want to try School of Undergraduate Studies as their first choice, right? If not, to answer that question also more in depth, if they really want business, they definitely need to put that as their first choice. When students apply to UT Austin, they put 2 choices. Their first choice, business, and their second choice, for example, communication. Everyone who applies to business will be reviewed holistically. Whoever meets the cut will be offered business. If they don't get accepted to business, then they'll be cascaded to their second choice, which is communication. Everyone who applied to communication as their second choice, who didn't get their first choice, will be reviewed and hopefully be offered that second choice. If for some reason they don't get accepted to the first or second, they will be reviewed for a third option known as the School of Undergraduate Studies. So your child will be reviewed 3 times to UT. But if they really want business, ma'am, they should definitely consider business. The good thing, and the students will, I'll let them elaborate, you'll find out that they'll change their majors at least once or twice throughout their 4 or 5 years. And maybe it happens within the first year, because they will take classes, they'll meet professors, they'll take these opportunities. Or maybe Subiendo for itself, they're intrigued with policy. Maybe I want to go into public policy and I'll go to LBJ school and see what happens. But don't be surprised if your child who wants business ends up being an engineer before he or she graduates. But the application process, I highly recommend, if they really want business, put that as their first choice, ma'am. They could always transfer out of that. And if they didn't get their first choice, they can always internally transfer into that specific major that they really wanted from the get-go, ma'am. But students, you guys want to elaborate as far as your majors and how did you change it when you got here? What was your first, and then what are you doing now? You know, whatever you want to add to that.
Well, I have not changed my major. I came into UT knowing that I wanted to go into social work. So I applied to the School of Social Work, and that's where I got in. But that's just me personally, that I already knew that I wanted. But I have many friends who started off not knowing what they wanted and having been undeclared, and after their first year got an idea of what they wanted to do, and then they went that route. And then a semester later, oh, they didn't like that at all, so they changed it again. You know, it's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As you go on through with your college career, you will change, you will learn more, and so that is, yeah, you'll definitely change your mind sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I mean, Denise pretty much hit, you know, everything, how she gave all the details she could. You know, I also haven't changed my major. I've only added on another one. But you know, I will elaborate on, you know, if they do want to be in the more competitive schools like the School of Business or the engineering school, I would definitely have them prioritize that. And then, you know, if first they can try it out, and if they don't like it, then they can transfer out, you know. But it's good to know that if it's something that they're at least slightly interested in, and it is the more competitive end of the scale, to go ahead and put that as their first or second choice. Because I know students, or I had colleagues that applied for the business school just to know that they could get in, and then, you know, they went through their orientation and realized that, you know, that may not be what they want to do, and then they changed their major before they even got to the first day of class. Because that also is a pretty frequent trend for students that will get in and then really take a really good look at the degree plans and what all it encompasses, and then they'll be able to have more time because they don't have a specific deadline since they've already been admitted to the school to go online and look at all that they really can do and then kind of gauge whether or not they want to change it.
So I haven't changed schools, but I have changed majors. I first thought I wanted to do marketing, and then I realized that wasn't for me. So I switched from marketing to management, and I really love management now. But I do have friends that have majored in more than one thing in different schools, and they've been able to handle it, and they really enjoy it. But there's also ways to maybe, let's say you don't want to major in something else, but you can take classes so that you can minor in it. And I feel like that's a way to also get the best of both worlds. I know in the business school also there's a major called ERB, which is Engineering Route to Business. So that kind of encompasses both things, the business side and the engineering side. So if your child maybe is interested in both engineering and business, that might be something they would want to look into.
Then I think, before we move on, I'll just elaborate quickly on if for some reason your student doesn't get into their first choice school at UT, you know, but if this is where they want to be, you know, I would encourage them to do the School of Undergraduate Studies, come their first semester, really, you know, focus hard on getting their GPA up, and then apply and transfer into that school again. Because I've definitely seen that happen with students that their senior year of high school did not get into the business school, and then they came through undergraduate studies their first year, applied, and then got in. But it's because they worked hard and they knew exactly what they needed to do. So.
And just to reiterate again, School of Undergraduate Studies, if a student either does not know what they really want or maybe has different options, that's a great choice to put in as a first choice. The first year, they'll be advised, and based on their skills and abilities and leadership, they'll be offered or at least be recommended this major. They'll go over some career inventory tests with them, and then, well, you're real good in math. Have you considered engineering? Well, I kind of have in the past, so maybe you should go into engineering, and they'll help them with the internal transfer process to engineering once they're out, because they can't stay in undergraduate studies. They have to leave, hopefully, within that first year. Okay? Any other admissions questions? Yes, sir. Yes. Sorry. Ma'am, sorry.
So I know at small universities like Tumuk, they have what's called like Hoggy Days, where the students come in, you know, there's obviously much fewer students there than here. Mm-hmm. And they come in and they have pre-built schedules for them, and sometimes they need to change them. Do you guys pre-build schedules, or when do the kids come in and find out what their schedules are, or do they do it on their own?
Students have the options, along with the families, to actually attend either different events over the summer called Longhorn Saturdays. But during the day, if you want to have some sort of maybe sit in a classroom, depending on the department or the major that they might be interested in, ma'am, they could set up some sort of a visitation with the department chair or the representative of that major / college, and then maybe sit down. But they'll tailor it, and they'll cater it along as if you give them enough time, they could do that. But there's not a specific day for that happens, other than Longhorn Saturday, where if they register, they'll be able to meet with the dean or the representative that specific day without the classroom time. Obviously, during the day and during the semester, they'll be able to sit in and maybe see how it is to be in the classroom.
But the first schedule that they make, they kind of do on their own, or they get advice on doing it?
The students, during their summer orientation, so they'll choose their orientation session over the summer, and then that's when they'll meet with their specific departmental advisor. They'll be like, okay, this is what you're coming in with based on your AP or dual credit courses, and then they'll be like, okay, here are the classes that are available, and during their orientation, that's where they will actually register for the classes that they want. A common thing that students do is they'll join freshman interest group, which are FIGs, and they have different FIGs depending on if you're like pre-law or pre-med or education or whatever the case may be, and they have kind of pre-built schedules because all the students in that FIG will have those same classes, but they will make their first schedule at their summer orientation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sorry, I didn't understand it, but yes, ma'am. They will help them out during summer orientation. And one of the things that President Powers, our president, did emphasize that before, orientation wasn't as a requirement, but now it's a requirement for us incoming freshmen to attend. We have 6 long sessions throughout the summer, or if not, there's a free one that they could attend the weekend before the school actually starts. Okay. Any other admissions questions before, or maybe even student live questions? Yes, ma'am.
The process needs to start. I mean, we need to start applying for schools quickly. Am I right?
Yes. For UT Austin, the application opens up August 1st. Okay, and one of the things that they asked me earlier is that when do you start the cycle with meeting with the students? You know, personally, as a regional admissions office, we started meeting with your students when they're leaving their junior year a couple of months ago, and then to tell them about the deadline, to tell them about when it opens up, the requirements. But absolutely, ma'am, the earlier the better. August 1st, I don't expect for them to finish it, because it is overwhelming. It's a long application, but they could start. You know, maybe start typing the essays, maybe start updating the resumes, asking letters of recommendations, etc. But August 1st for UT, absolutely, the earlier the better. Our deadline is December 1st. And as you can imagine, you know your son or daughter better. They are overachievers. They're so involved in either some sort of activity as far as sports, either in the fall, band, student council, etc., etc. So we don't want them waiting for the last minute. And it does happen. You know, coming from a regional office, November 30th, I have a line of students and parents submitting their transcripts, submitting their last-minute document. Of course, none of them will be your students, but every single year we have students waiting for the last minute. Why? Because, you know, procrastination and, over-involvement and so forth. But August 1st, let them know. Start the application. Don't finish it, but start. When did you guys start? I mean, did you guys remember the first time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember my senior year, like my first semester. It's probably going to be one of your students' busiest semesters. I applied to 14 schools because I really didn't know what I wanted. And I do strongly, strongly recommend that even right now, and I've given this advice to my younger sisters and my other students that I work with as well. Just, you know, during the summer, you can definitely start typing up, drafting essays like, you know, they're relatively similar about experiences that you've had obstacles you've overcame, someone that inspires you. So use those general ideas to kind of draft something, or use essays that they've had. Definitely the first week of school, I would tell your students to go ask for their letters of recommendation, because those teachers or club sponsors are going to get hit like mid-semester with a bunch of requests, so you definitely want to give them enough time to focus on theirs, and even just staying organized, like updating the resume, like Alex said, was really, really important, as well as ensuring that you have all your transcripts and all your forms together. Just definitely look as early as possible, because the semester does pick up and you definitely have to make time for it when you are applying, no matter how many schools you're applying for, because you want to make sure that you have the best application for every single school that you're sending it off to.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many resources within the high school. So for like their essays, they can talk to like their English teachers and like ask them to help them revise it and edit it and see what they can do better. But also just keep in touch with the counselor and make sure, you know, they're on your side to help you, whether it's a male or female. But so, I mean, they'll help you with any way that they can. I know my counselor was really good about that. She helped us tremendously with everything. And so I would say, you know, use the resources that they have at school, and I think it'll be fine.
If nothing else, make sure your student actually looks up the deadline for the application, because you know sometimes it gets overlooked, and then all of a sudden, oh, you only have a week to complete it, and they're scrambling to get letters of recommendations and such. So definitely make sure your student knows all the deadlines for different schools they want to apply to.
And the best thing is that you don't have to do it alone. Each one of your child has, depending on the high school they are graduating from, they have an assigned admissions counselor. Anybody from the South Texas region, my office, myself, and my staff is assigned to that specific school. And I think before they leave, they will know who that admissions counselor is. And before I leave today, I will give you my business card, and I'll make myself available to you all through email in case you have any questions regarding admissions or scholarships and so forth. But they don't have to do it on their own. Sometimes I know I hear it, well, high school counselors, they're busy, Alex, they don't give me the time. Okay, that's fine, I understand, but we are here. They pay us to help your child apply and hopefully get admitted to UT Austin. So if anything, we're here to help out.
One more. So maybe just one more.
Okay.
So they're basically going to go on their class rank from their junior year. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
If you apply by December, because they don't have class ranks.
Correct.
For senior year until after the first semester.
That is correct. Unless that high school re-ranks the students, which is unlikely, we're going through the 6th semester rank, which is the end of their junior year when it comes to ranking purposes. And in case you're wondering, this year it's top 8% for automatic admissions. And we could go into detail afterwards. I don't want to keep much time with automatic admissions, but the ranking, to answer your question, is the top at the end of their 6th semester, which is at the end of their junior year. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just to keep the options open for the kids, how many applications can they throw out there for the different colleges? Or is there a point when then they hold that against him, that too many applications for that same kid? Just a question.
You heard, Ricardo, 14 applications. Apply Texas, sir. If you haven't had a chance to go online, applytexas.org. Altogether, students are able to apply to as many public universities in the state of Texas, just with Apply Texas. Then there's a common app that you could use as well, but there's nothing. I encourage personally students to apply to as many colleges out there. They applied to as many, and they had options. We want your child to have options, and it might be that UT might not be the option because this other school that they applied to offer them a better scholarship opportunity. I'm okay with that. I tell students who, Alex, I'm sorry you helped me. I'm not going to go to UT because that's fine. My interest, which is the interest that you all have, is that your son or daughter go to college and graduate from one. If it's not here, that's fine. If it's here, great. We're ready for you all. Okay, but yes, sir, there's nothing as far as them applying, and we don't have access to how many apply. We don't go based, well, this person applied to 10 different colleges. If we don't admit them, they have other options. We don't do that. There's no way for us to find out. So again, they applied to 14 or as many as 3, 4, 5. So,
but in order to have options, you do need to apply to more than one school. I've been told that it's good to have at least 6 is a good number. 2 schools that you're reaching for that are like your aim schools, 2 schools that you're pretty comfortable with that the student will get in, and then 2 like safety or fallback type schools, just so that they have that full spectrum of options that they can choose from. So I feel like 6 is a really good number.
I have students who want to get into our business or engineering school. They don't get admitted. They get admitted to another school for that specific major. And then I ask them, well, I really want to go to UT, Alex. Yes, but do you want to study engineering? Well, yes, I do. You could still apply internally once you're here into engineering. But what happens if you don't get in? You miss the opportunity of studying engineering at this other school. Just like he said, give yourself options. And if you really want to study that specific program of study and you get accepted over there, I think that should be something worth considering with you and your family to go to that school instead of UT. So, but definitely a lot of opportunities, a lot of options, and and I'm more than sure you want the best for your child, and I'm more than sure you're going to remind them, apply, deadlines, and so forth. I took two saying that I tell students. The first one, because our deadlines moved up so early now. The first one I tell students, no trick or treat unless you're complete, right? October 30th, 31st. Now, for my procrastinators out there, no pumpkin pie unless you apply. Which, if they're applying by Thanksgiving, oh my, hopefully that's not the case. And to this day, every single year, I have someone emailing me or calling me November 30th, Alex, is it too late to apply? It's not too late, but if you're going to write excellent essays, if you're going to send us your scores, if you're going to get us a rec, and you're going to have an updated resume within one day, good luck. Don't do that, please. Any other questions, admissions, ma'am? No. I'm just kidding. No, you know what? I'm just kidding. You're probably you're asking all the questions that they're wondering, so those are great. I appreciate that. Anything else? Olga, I'll turn it back to Olga, and I'll be here on Thursday. Before you leave, I do have my business cards. I truly, congratulations to you all, parents. This is a great program. They're gonna learn a lot throughout the week. They'll have access and through the counselors that they have here. But anything that I could help you with, Ms. Acosta or the program or Dean Gilligan, please feel free to contact us. And we want the best for your child. And we truly think that it's UT Austin. It's best for your child. But if it's not. If it's not, again, my interest is the same interest that you all have, is that they go and attend and graduate from a college. Thank you so much, and hook 'em horns.
Thanks so much, Alex. That was really great. So now, are there any final questions that y'all may have for any of us up here? Okay, so this is basically the end of your day. You are free to go. We do have popcorn in the back if you want to grab some before you head out. Alex also is over here with his business cards, but you don't have to bombard him. Every student will find out who their counselor is this week, and you'll be able to contact them at their regional office, or if they're a counselor here on campus, you can contact them as well. So if you have any questions for any of them, students will know by the end of the week for sure. No questions? Great. Thank y'all so much for coming. Y'all have been great. Really appreciate it. Thank you.